Oh, is it not working right now? Hang on a second. Can you guys hear me? That's the main thing I'm worried about right now. Oh, forgot that queue's still going. Sorry about that. But can everyone hear me right now? That's the main thing I'm worried about. Okay, there we go. That's better. Yeah, I know. I can fix that. I know what the problem was there. But yeah, I've been mainly concerned about my mic because I think my cable has like a short in it. So it's been like, I think I got it rigged up now to where it would work, but either way. By the way, John, thank you for upgrading your membership and even getting a membership to begin with. Hey, everybody, how's everyone doing so far? Interesting times ahead, I'm sure. This has been a this has been a big subject for a lot of us. Or it's really telling, especially considering we're getting model data. We're actually going to be getting model data from the hurricane hunters later this evening. So that really says a lot too. So seems like it's pretty serious. A lot of changes have been happening over the last 12 to 24 hours, maybe even 36, but there's been a significant shift in model data as well. We'll get into that in just a little bit, but I know what the burning questions are. I've seen them in chat, so let's go ahead and get into the details with that. First, I need to move this model all the way to where the end of the period in which we're getting snow is going to be occurring. I think that's going to be around Monday. We'll actually put it all the way up to Tuesday, just for safe measure. So while you're at it, feel free to comment where you are if you have any particular questions about your area. I'm obviously ready to answer because I can at least anticipate a few. But do we want to go over the snow forecast first, or do you want to go over the ice? Because I know there's a number of you that are in the mix of both. And then there's a lot of us that are strictly within snow or ice. And if I'm being completely honest, the snowier side of the event probably isn't being talked about enough yet. So there is that. All right, so we got New York. We'll try to make sure we put extra emphasis on that. Okay, I remember seeing you in chat saying that you were closer towards Memphis. I think you and one other person, I think it was Mark, that said that. I know where you are, Isaiah. Well, if anyone else has any other questions, just feel free to drop them in as we go. Oh, I lost my video. There I go. There I am. Okay. Bad camera angle too. But all right, I guess we'll start with the snow. Okay, so for right now, this is the totals that we're seeing. A new bullseye's really been popping up over the last couple of days over towards Virginia, and now that's kind of shifted a bit north. So anyone that's over towards the Delmarva, even heading towards the Vineyards, which includes New York City, Pennsylvania, Philly, maybe even all the way into Boston, it could get pretty interesting over there. Snow's starting to look pretty impressive as well. I'm not sure if I'm sold on the totals yet either, though, but it is kind of telling considering this model that I look at here. The blend of models is actually a combination plot of all the other weather models that are available to us at this range combined together into, I would say, the mean or like the average, maybe a little bit below, honestly. So when we're getting conservative models like this giving us these kind of totals, you can't ignore that. It's pretty hard to do that. So another target area that I don't think really has been talked about enough might be over towards Kansas. I think over towards Kansas, Oklahoma, especially western Oklahoma, there's like a little bullseye over here where we could see up to about a foot of snow. And really, it's going to be out here towards the Midwest and the Central Plains is where the event's going to begin. So we'll probably see conditions begin to deteriorate by Friday, and then we'll see this begin to slowly but surely progress off towards the east. Now for the ice, and some of this data I haven't really gotten a great look at just yet. But this is what we have going on here. I'm not so sure about that, Isaiah. I think Baconator is going to stay just off to the east of the bullseye. I'll look back at it one more time. Well, no, he's still going to get a good bit. About 8 to 10 inches are possible for him. But for the ice, this is the business end of the storm. Everybody's talking about this. So a lot has changed over here. And one thing that in particular I've noticed is the bullseye hasn't changed over here, but the totals have dropped off ever so slightly. When I look at the model data last night with this, and I'm actually going to go back and show you guys so you can see it. And even this morning, like the totals were kind of higher. The bullseye was a little further to the south. We're now dealing with lighter totals than what we had yesterday. I think yesterday was probably the most intense in regards to the totals. Yeah, the ice. Yeah, so look, I think the most impressive run was the 13Z run or 12Z run yesterday. Like this stretch of ice was just going all the way over towards the Ozarks, even heading into parts of Texas here. It's still pretty significant even with the latest run, but some of the runs we were seeing yesterday were kind of almost doom and gloom scenarios. Put in perspective for you guys, I live in Atlanta, and I was seeing totals nearing half an inch in my area alone. And that was stretching even as far south as maybe over towards Augusta. At times we were even thinking that maybe even Savannah was coming into play. Ice, ice, baby. No, we don't want the ice in any way, shape, or form. Especially when you get totals like this. There's nothing good that comes from it, other than you being trapped at home and maybe losing power. But yeah, it was about midday on Tuesday where we had the most impressive runs. If you end up getting these kind of totals from a conservative model, that really says a lot. And the National Weather Service blend of models is as conservative as they get. Like, I don't even want to tell you about what I was seeing with the GFS and European models. Like, those totals were insane. Some places around here, these bullseyes that we've been seeing consistently, we're even seeing potential for up to maybe a full inch or more of ice. But obviously you can see a little bit has changed. We kind of have a little bit of a break point here. This is definitely indicative of a warm nose. So with that low pressure, it's probably going to be strengthening. And I think the high pressure is going to be a little bit further back. So warm air is sneaking in here. And as a result, these totals may be dropping off right now. It's still kind of too early to tell at this juncture though. We'll get into the model data and then the logic behind that in just a little bit. But not much has really changed. Bullseye is over towards the Carolinas. Virginia's now entered the equation here. And then also over towards Tennessee. The totals have kind of ramped up a bit. Southern Arkansas and Louisiana has been the bullseye. We're starting to see a little bit less over towards Texas. I think also the forward progression of this system is going to increase. Because the real concern with Texas was the thought that we would probably end up seeing a situation where we would have multiple days of frozen precipitation here. And we probably still will, but it may not be to the same severity. And that's always a key component, is the forward speed of a system. Yeah, skating to work then. You can skate to work. I sure can't. All right. So here is the logic behind what's going on here. We're looking at the jet stream. So it's this trough right here that's going to be the key component or part of the equation here. So look for this area right here. And then there's another piece of energy right here. These two end up phasing together. So the energy almost, in a way, it kind of merges. So what ends up happening is we have a trough pushing further off towards the south. We have a feature where we have warm air towards the surface coming into play as well. The high pressure that's going to be up here spins clockwise, pushing this cold air south. And then warm air is interacting here. So What ends up happening, we end up getting that shallow area of warm air towards the lower part of the atmosphere. Towards the upper part, it's cold, so that's why we aren't seeing this end up falling all the way to the ground as snow, even if you're getting surface temperatures below 32 degrees. So if we keep it moving here, of course, it's a quick mover from that point. But if we look towards the mid to lower levels of the atmosphere, you'll kind of see exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go back a little bit here. Now, with the recent changes in the forecast, I wouldn't be surprised if we've had a shift in just where exactly that warmer air is going to end up being. Based off recent model guidance, I would say we're probably looking more so towards the mid levels of the atmosphere. But the ice looks like it's going to be forming up over here towards this region. I'm going to circle it for you. So it's this area here. And our 32-degree line in the upper levels of the atmosphere is going to be this area in the blue. So anywhere south of this, towards the lower levels of the atmosphere, we're above freezing. But then again, and I'm going to show you guys a cool little feature here once I fix this up really quickly. We're going to pull up GFS again, and we're going to pull up the temperature map, and then I'll let you make a little comparison here to go with it. In fact, I had an easier way to do that, and I should have. But here is our temp map, and then we're going to do this. So this is at 78 hours. So look at that. So these are the same areas that we're looking at here. You can see that the surface temperature over here is well below freezing. This is at 25 degrees Fahrenheit at the time we're looking at this. But the temperature about a couple thousand feet above your head in the atmosphere is just above freezing. So with that, you put two and two together. We can look at the sounding. We end up seeing this. Probability is going to be freezing rain. This is what that temperature looks like in the upper levels of the atmosphere. The way this bows out to the right is your confirmation there. Yep, this is the result that you end up getting when you see that shallow area of warm air aloft. And the thing about this is it's been shown on multiple models, so it doesn't really come as much of a surprise, but that's pretty much the science behind the setup here. And this is going to be prevalent across most of the southeast. You can almost see this warm nose actually popping up here as well. And this is where things kind of get interesting for areas a little further off towards the south here. I wish I could say the same for some of you over here towards Tennessee, Arkansas. But you can see where you have that little boundary where we're just above 32 here. If we look towards the mid levels of the atmosphere, it's kind of a similar situation. You can see that we're above freezing here. Hey, what's up, Jordan? You can kind of see the same thing here. You can see that little warm nose towards the mid levels of the atmosphere pushing up here, and this is why you guys end up seeing more ice potential than snow with that northward shift. This shifts back south that puts you back in the equation for more snow. I still think that predominantly you will end up getting more snow the further north you go. So up towards northwestern Tennessee, it could get kind of hairy. You're going to probably get a little bit of both. But anywhere further up towards the north, heading into the Ohio Valley, it looks like it's just going to be Snowtown at that point. So that's pretty much like I said, pretty much the science behind it. The timing is going to be the next question here, most likely. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out really quick so you can get a full view here. There. All right. So this is when you start to see the early stages of this storm system begin to take shape. It's going to be around Friday afternoon. We're starting out towards Texas, of course. And then by the time we get into Friday evening, this is when we start to see the changeover begin to occur as that cold air comes in. Again, keep note of this high pressure here, this blue H. We're going to be looking for the clockwise flow here. And with this high pressure trying to deepen as we go further here, but staying further to the north, that's how that northward push ends up happening along with this low pressure here. Now watch what happens as I move this forward. I'm going to try to keep track of these as best as I can. This makes a little bit of a push to the south here. This continues to head off to the east, and then you'll see a new low kind of pop up over here towards the Gulf and then head inland. The energy really kind of surges over here. With the newest run, the low pressure actually re-emerges over here towards the Atlantic, actually. So that's where we start to get that increase in precip for the northeastern states, I should say. But I also see an increase in energy over here, and the warm nose beginning to develop there as well. That's in large part due to that low beginning to re-strengthen at this point. Now, one reason why I think that we're getting that northward push as well is because of the fact that if I go to previous runs on here, let's go to yesterday's run. This is already further off towards the south. If we were to go to 12Z, it's even further off towards the south by this point. See how much further to the south it gets all the way into Iowa here, heading all the way into parts of Illinois. And then it kind of holds there. The high pressure ends up kind of dragging off to the northeast here, and that's where things start to get more complicated. Let's go back. So with this high pressure, what's important about this, because normally you don't have to worry about these, we would end up seeing a situation where that cold air drops further south, and then the rain-snow line ends up shifting south. But with this staying further up towards the north, still remains pretty strong. This ends up becoming a little bit more of a Midwestern, Ohio Valley, Northeast snow event. Still think we end up getting a bit of an ice event, but probably not quite as strong at this point, or maybe not as significant. Some areas are going to be slammed, though. That's one thing about it, but still a lot more questions than answers at this point. The southern shift saves your area, but it's not going to stop people from getting the ice. That's the one thing about it. The freezing rain is pretty much set because of the simple setup being the way it is. That warm air that's going to be coming from the low pressure here, it's going to mix into those mid to upper layers of the atmosphere, or lower to mid layers of the atmosphere actually. And then that shallow area of warm air is just not going to fade anytime soon. So there's that. So no matter what you do, it's going to be an issue. How you doing, Renita? Ice is truffling. I mean, it is what it is. That's why it's trifling. Okay, I was about to say, you're having a baconator moment there, aren't you? Okay, so one thing that I will also make note of here is the GFS is kind of doing a similar thing to what the Euro is showing. No, I saw that. Okay, so let's actually take a look at the Euro and make a comparison here. Because here on the channel, we actually will look at both models. Oh, yeah. I honestly did for a second. I'm so sorry, Blondie. Okay, let me go back to GFS here. The timing for your area really looks like it starts towards Sunday afternoon. Probably right about at noon. And then it continues pretty much through most of the day into the evening hours, and probably exits by Monday morning for your area. Appreciate you, Blondie. But the timing based off GFS looks like it's going to be right about noon. Maybe a little bit before. It could. Now remember, it's still like 4 days in advance, maybe more like 3 now, but still a lot more questions than we have answers. Little fun fact here, actually, the hurricane hunters have been dispersed to try to gather more data on this storm system, just so we can improve the certainty. Okay, so here's the euro, and things have really gotten interesting with this. If I'm being completely honest, Renita, it's changing to the point where I'm not so sure anymore. So I haven't had a chance to even look at the euros data as of yet, but I do see a slight shift with this as well. We start off seeing this a little bit further off to the north with the high as well. There's a low pressure that starts out here. This is going to result in heavier snow over towards the Midwest. The freezing rain potential actually increases more towards the northern half of Texas, more so than a snow threat. Then as we go, we see the ice threat shift further up towards the north. We have more of Arkansas involved this time. We have more of a rain shield further to the south. I think it's because of the fact that this low showing up on the euro is much stronger. And then we end up seeing more of a warm nose begin to develop here too with this low, with it being at 1006. The other one in the GFS was at 10 millibars. And with the low pressure, obviously, the lower the pressure, the stronger the storm. But also, this is going to inject more warm air into the equation. So when we get this, now we're talking about an ice threat for Tennessee, parts of Kentucky as well, and then also looking at cold air damming situation for the Carolinas. But then at this point, it looks like perhaps, and I only can say perhaps at this point, because like I said, a lot of uncertainty still exists with the model data, is that maybe Alabama, Georgia, and some parts of Louisiana end up getting spared potentially. How you doing, amputee? And then the cold air damming kind of really takes hold as we get into Sunday morning. Georgia doesn't get any ice at all at this point. And then we're looking at maybe more of a mid-Atlantic and maybe Ohio Valley ice event based off the Euros data now. Again, like I said, a lot of moving parts. Not all models are in agreement. Model agreement was much better yesterday, actually, versus today. Yeah, the Euro is a very aggressive model when it comes to ice in this case here. But we've kind of been all over the place with this, and that's why I'm still kind of on the fence about it. Tell me about it. All right, so we're looking at another model I like to use. This is the Icon model. It's not a model that I bank on a whole lot, but I do use it for model comparison, just to get a relative idea of where the general consensus is. This is kind of lagging a little bit in regards to the timing. It starts a little bit later into Friday evening. This kind of leans a little bit in the middle between the GFS and the Euro. This isn't kind of going either or. It kind of goes multiple ways. But this ends up showing a much greater ice threat for Georgia, but this spares potentially parts of Alabama, at least early on. Then by the time we get into Georgia, there could be by the time we get into Sunday, it could be on something on the back half there. Outside of that, anywhere further towards the north, towards the northeast, New York, Delmarva, Ohio Valley, it's pretty much a snow threat across the board here. Jordan, I don't know if you remember us talking about the ice threat for your area last night, but it looks like it is definitely increasing, slowly but surely, unfortunately. I'll be making another discussion tomorrow. The way that the model guidance is, I pretty much have no choice but to do that, because run by run, this is continuing to change here. Nothing's really set in stone here at all. That's one thing I'm coming to realize with this forecast. Because literally I can look at probably several different models and you have a different outcome on each one. So no kind of certainty whatsoever. There's still a chance that it shifts back south too. That's the other thing about it. So I'm seeing more and more wrinkles with the forecast in time, and it seems like more and more rain is now being accounted for, entered into the forecast. Which, if I'm being honest, it kind of makes sense, but I'm still not. Like I said, I'm still not sure yet. So this is the Canadian model that we're looking at, by the way. This is a model that I don't use as much either. It's decent when it comes to winter weather forecasting, so I do tend to use it occasionally if there's a big enough storm. This is one of those situations. I mean, that's pretty typical, though, if we're honest. These winter weather forecasts often end up coming down to the wire. And then even on the day of, you'll see like a little odd shift that changes everything. I remember one of the last events in the southeast, for example. I think it was like the one after. I think it might have been the southeastern blizzard or the Gulf Coast blizzard. My area saw no snow, but towards the deformation, we were originally forecasted to be in the deformation zone. It forms up probably about maybe 5 to 10 miles to my east. They ended up getting slammed with like a quick 1 to 2 inch burst of snow within the course of like an hour. So it just goes to show how things could end up playing out. One thing with the Canadian that I've noticed is that rain snow line gets pushed very far to the north here. It's pretty extreme if I'm being honest. But this could even include parts of Philly even before all is said and done. We could even see rain on the backside of this as far north as maybe even West Virginia heading towards the Ohio state line. So we'll watch this head out. And then that's pretty much it there. But again, I think the most interesting thing is going to be that low pressure itself. That's going to undoubtedly be the key component to everything. If the high does drop further to the south and it drops earlier than that low, we could also be talking a different story. So it's really going to come down to how those two pressures end up setting up. It's going to be all down to where this high right here ends up setting up shop compared to where this low ends up hanging out, and what strength is this going to be at. This high sinks, we're going south. This high stays where it's at right now, like right here for example, we're getting more rain. The other thing about this is, look where this low ends up setting itself up by the time we get into Sunday morning. Like I said, with the stronger low that's inland as well, that pushes the warm nose into the equation. So this is like this is going to be one of those nightmare forecasts where it's just an absolute headache for local meteorologists, weather nerds like me to kind of crack the code here. The other wrinkle that we have in all of this too is, like I said, hurricane hunters are actually sampling the atmosphere around where our low pressures are going to form, so we could get even more accurate guidance. So like I said, this is one of those forecasts that's going to be right down to the wire. No one's going to be able to really take a deep breath until things start to kind of go off here. And even then, I don't know if you can. Like I said, I've seen things happen in real time that can't be picked up on models, or just weren't going to be able to be picked up on models like the last second. But that's pretty much all the main guidance that I have for you at this point. If you guys have any questions, feel free. Feel free to shoot. I think we're still out of range for this one. Yep, we are. Just barely. One other thing that we can also do really quick before we wrap up the discussion is talking about our warnings right now. I'm gonna be honest with you, MX. I'm not even sure. It This has been going back and forth for a bit now. Like I actually saw the first runs for this like a week ago, but the issue that we have here is that trend to the south could end up going the other way based off what Hurricane Hunter's guidance has to offer. So it could really end up going either way. Yeah, it's literally everywhere. It's just it's just impossible for me to really say that it's going to go one way or another. All the people in my inner circle, I told them, hey, go to the store now if you're going to go, because you may not be able to pick what you want otherwise. Isaiah, you're honestly going to get probably more ice than snow. I'm just going to tell you now. Even in yesterday's models, you were still going to get more ice than you were going to get about just as much ice as you were snow. Yeah, they're panicking. And I mean, I get it. Because the thing is, some people on social media have been showing the most extreme scenarios kind of coming into play, where we're talking about maybe 2 inches of ice. Exactly, Jordan. And then the worst part is like the way that the models looked yesterday. Like they were in pretty good agreement, and then all of a sudden they weren't. So that's gonna put a lot of heat on the weather community also. So it kind of sucks that we're in this spot. Hey, I'm not any happier about it than you are. Dang, they're already clearing it out. To any of you that are in Discord, if you want to share those images of the stores being empty, if you have them, feel free. If they're on Twitter, show them there. Obviously, I'm not sure if I can show those on stream without potentially being taken down, but either way, I know I can at least I know we can at least look at them on Discord. All right, so one of the last things we'll do here, of course, is take a look at the advisories that have just recently really been issued. So I'm also going to go over just how we're going to have these watches and warnings issued. Oh, wow. What are these? All of these are extreme cold warnings here. Took no time flat. Wait, is that a blizzard warning? Hang on a second, guys. There's a blizzard warning right now? Expires in 3 hours. That's odd. I don't see any snow falling. It must be snowpack and winds coming in. But anyway, for all of these areas, that's going to be our main focus right now. Areas to the east, we'll probably go over the scenario with that tomorrow. But as far as tonight's concerned, what we can expect from Texas all the way out further to the east, and this is going to happen progressively over time, is going to more than likely end up in winter storm watches for most of the region that's going to be affected by this winter storm. So a winter storm watch is basically going to mean that within 48 to 72 hours, you can expect winter storm conditions to be occurring. So once we get within 24 hours, a lot of areas are going to be upgraded to a winter storm warning, which is basically the same thing except we're within the 24-hour period. Yeah, if it's 60-mile-per-hour winds, then yeah, blizzard warning is pretty much a shoe-in. That makes sense. It honestly makes perfect sense. And if I'm being honest, also another thing, extreme cold watch is kind of the same thing. We're going to be dealing with extreme cold within the 48 to 72 hour time frame. Question mark kind of remains with these areas further off towards the south. We may not even get a winter storm watch here. Some of these areas may get winter weather advisories. Some may not get anything at all. We just get special weather statements and extreme cold watches possibly. But within the next 24 hours, a lot of the bullseye areas will probably end up getting winter storm warning criteria. For ice storm warning, that's where things kind of get interesting. With ice storm warning, I think it kind of varies based on state or even counties or infrastructure based off of the National Weather Service district. But I think for a lot of these areas, we would end up seeing ice storm warning criteria being met at about a quarter inch of ice, which I'm sure a lot of these areas will exceed. So we'll probably see, I'm pretty sure it's a safe bet that we'll see North and South Carolina and maybe parts of Virginia get those ice storm warnings. I would say the same thing for parts of Arkansas and Louisiana, eastern Oklahoma, northeast Texas. Tennessee, it's still kind of a question mark because you're in that battle zone right now. So hard to say. But Memphis does look like it could end up in it. Areas further off towards the north, a little bit more questionable. Right now, with the way models are trending, if it continues, I lean towards yes. And then Kentucky's a point of contention as well right now. West Virginia, up towards the Appalachians, I would think yes, probably get ice storm warnings. And then probably end up seeing it downtrend to a winter storm warning. Because I think we'll get a fair mixture of both forms of precip. But yeah, pretty much, I would say anywhere along this corridor here has a pretty good chance of being under an ice storm warning. And then let's say right about here could be another spot. So those are going to be my points of interest for ice storm warnings. I'm putting you outside that corridor for right now. I'm talking about the areas that are guaranteed, in my honest opinion, right now. I would say this area right here, especially anywhere along this corridor. You know, I can always put you in that. I mean, I'd hand drew it myself. I could be a douchebag like that. No, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna do that. But don't tempt me. You know what? Let me actually take a look at the blend of model data again. Yeah, I was right to do that because you're just barely outside of it. I could torture you and put you in there. But yeah, you're just on the edge. You're still expecting a quarter inch of ice, though, possibly. If any rain does come in, though, it does melt that. So there is that possibility. When's the next model data? Wow. Probably going to be at least another hour from now from the GFS. And then the other stuff takes longer. The Euro takes the longest. It's going to probably come in by like 1 a.m. Eastern. And then we're looking at maybe... And on top of that, I don't know what time the blend of models comes in. It always shifts whenever it gets towards standard time versus daylight savings. So it always is weird. I know it's hard to tell since it's a couple of days out, but what's your opinion on the time in which it would hit Fort Worth? Let me go ahead and take a look at that. Yeah, I mean, if things continue to trend as they are, then yeah, you guys could really get slammed. So let's go ahead and take a look at this again. So we'll actually zoom in here. Jordan lives a little further away from the city, so it's harder for him. So it's harder for help to come their way. But Kentucky historically has had some of the worst ice storms in the country. Oh, it's a lot of remote workers. That definitely doesn't help the cause either. So precip looks like it comes in the form of rain first by 7. Really picks up potentially on the back end of things by Saturday morning. So that's when the winter precip kicks in, amputee. It'll come in mostly freezing rain. Then you might see a little bit of a change over to sleet. And then you have a secondary round according to GFS by the time you get into early Sunday morning. This one, the main part of the system moves through. You may have a couple of transition points where you get snow. And then by the time you get into Sunday afternoon, system is out. I want to look at something for the southeast really quick while I'm at it as well. What I want to do is I want to get a look at what that warm nose is going to be like. Ooh, that could save my area if that warm nose continues like that. Because look at how those 70s end up being almost pulled in by that low, that warmer air. If that low is strong enough, then you could even see Gulf Coast severe weather. Let's go ahead and look at some wind data while we're at it. Shouldn't have her working, but you know how that goes. Employers are not the most sensitive when it comes to weather. We are getting some decent gusts up to about 20 to 30 across the Ozarks here for Saturday. On the backside of this, there's going to be some solid wind as well, so definitely need to make sure that everybody stays insulated because the temperatures are going to be brutal. In fact, we'll go ahead and take a look at the temperature map as well. Oh, hey, Macabeth. Make arrangements to try and have power and internet out at now. Yeah, they definitely don't care about drivers. Yeah. Won't be cold enough here for freezing rain until Saturday night when the weather's blown out. Yeah, you'll be fine over there. The real concern is everyone that's expecting freezing rain or is going to be close to it, including me. I'm just glad we've seen a little bit of a downtrend for my area, but unfortunately it seems like a lot more people live more to the north of me than to the south of me. It seems like my family in Augusta, which is a couple hours off to my east, might still get it worse. I thought I clicked on the temperature map already. Alright, so another big topic, of course, is going to be, it's going to be downright cold after this storm passes through. So whatever falls, it's probably not going anywhere anytime soon. So here comes that polar plunge as well behind this Arctic system. So here's Saturday, right at about noon, I would say. We end up seeing some of the coldest air coming in by Sunday morning before the system rolls through. And then here is Monday. This is when things really start to get brutal. This is Monday afternoon, right around noon, and we're seeing some areas at about 11 degrees Fahrenheit. With those winds being involved as well, those wind chills are going to be below zero. So again, need to be extra cautious over here towards the Midwest and also the Mid Ohio Valley. Oh, I will. In fact, I got a way to do that. I wish I could have it set up to where we could run them both at the same time. That's not what I wanted to do. Yeah, definitely want to brace yourself because that is going to be a huge problem. Is it working this time? Yes, and now we can do this. So look at the wind chills combined with these surface temperatures here. Poor Minnesota is at negative 25 with a wind chill, and the surface temperature is at negative 9. Sheesh. Shoot, even by the afternoon on, when is this? Looks like Wednesday. Could be dealing with temperatures at about 8 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's pretty daggone brutal. Your area, Jordan, looks like it's going to be at about 8 degrees for air temperature, and then, or at, well, not air temperature, but wind chill, and then 15 is maybe like a surface temp. So, no one out towards the east is getting spared here. That's one thing about it. No one to the east is getting spared. Even if you get spared the precipitation, the refreeze is going to be pretty brutal in its own right. Jeez, we get a low of maybe like 11 by the time we get into Tuesday. Monday? Bro, this is Monday. This is Monday. That's the problem. Wind chill of about 8. Surface temp around 14 to 15. This is around like 10 a.m. It does get a little better. You get into the 20s. Sounds like winter 76, 77. Northern New Jersey. Over there, they're going to get it pretty bad. But I think that it's going to get better as the day goes on for them. That cold air might spare them. Oh, never mind. I spoke too soon. We're definitely going to be using the fireplace next week. There's no question about that here. I'd make sure that that's in working order first. Oof. Ooh, wow. That's getting even... Okay, so it looks like we end up getting another big shot before all is said and done here as well. Oh, yeah. I remember that. So you used it then, okay. Just make sure that everything's in working order, because propane is not something to play around with. Alright, so I'm going all the way to the end of the model run here. Looks like we do start to level out by the time we get into February. So, there's some positive. There's some positives there. Yeah, there you go, Isaiah. You probably want to have that just in case. Because you'll think that you're good 1 minute and then you won't. Yeah, that's not great. It's not great at all. Okay, so I'm gonna look at one other thing, because there's something I'm curious about. I'm not gonna hype it up or anything like that, but there is something that has caught my eye with this run. I'm not gonna make a full-blown like public video about it anytime soon, but Jordan, you and I talked about this the other night. I don't know if I don't think the Euro's in range or will be in range anytime soon, at least from the dinner time model. So this is kind of what we're stuck with here. So let's go ahead and fix this really quickly. But, and also anyone on Discord might have seen that one look that I was talking about. But the model agreement isn't really there, so I'm not really all that worried about it. And it looks like the trend there is kind of holding. Okay, so that actually looks a lot better. I was seeing on the GFS that there was potential for another system, maybe. But it looks like that doesn't seem to be materializing. All the moisture seems to be well away from the cold at this point in time. So, in theory, we should be getting spared from that, but we'll see. The 31st. It was the 31st. But this new run isn't showing it now, so it's good news to be had. See, that's the GFS that we're looking at off to the left here. You can zoom in and show you. But yeah, nothing really of note to talk about, just some scattered snow showers. Everything stays offshore. Maybe get some rain towards Florida, but that's about it. And then the Euro's kind of never been on that boat to begin with, so there's always that too. That's nothing to really talk about there either. Yeah, so we're looking pretty good there at least. So hopefully you have 100 gallons of oil coming on Friday. Sheesh. It's quite a bit. What are you going to be using that for? Or do you have... Sounds like you have a business or something. But if you have that much, hopefully you'll be able to... Well, I don't know what you would use. I don't know what you're using the oil for. Oh, furnace. Nice. Well, that should have you prepped up for a while. Let's just hope that it's not that bad to where you would have to use anything close to all of it. I don't know how fast the furnace, or at what rate the furnace would burn that oil up at. And I'm wanting to think that 100 gallons is a lot, but if it's anything like a vehicle, I'm not so sure. Especially if the worst does end up happening. Alright, any further questions? Because, I mean, I think I've just about talked about all I can. I could check out Tropical Tidbits and see what the hurricane hunters are up to. I'm trying to see exactly where they are right now. Looks like they're over the Pacific around Cali. Maybe that's where that low is right now? can move up a little bit further. Yep, there it is. Okay, it's right there. So I'm guessing this is where they are. If I do a split view. No, I can't do that. Be quicker to do it this way instead of typing it in manually. It seems like they're almost done with their data, so we're going to get the midnight models with all the new dropson data from our recon aircraft here. Oh, what am I doing? Why did I do that? Click the wrong thing. Alright. What's up, Jordan? My current Super Bowl prediction. I'm favoring the Seahawks if I'm being honest. They're playing at an elite they're playing at like an elite level on both sides of the ball. I mean, they get past the Rams. I don't see the Patriots or the Broncos really being able to stop them. But yeah, I think I favor the Seahawks. Yeah, and it's not gonna last that long. I don't think the cold that's gonna be coming after this system. So I think he should be fine. But yeah, this is our system, and it looks like they're doing all of their passes now. I think they've done at least one diamond. They might do one more before all said and done. Also, to anyone that wants to join our Discord, this you just have to click this link, and if you already have an account there on Discord, that's it. Discord's free to use, of course. Trying to get that back up and running as well. Patriots all day? Absolutely not. Houston honestly should have beat y'all. If they didn't turn over the ball like 5 or 6 times, y'all didn't do a whole lot on offense. You had maybe one or two plays where you really did something. That defense had you on your heels. You guys turned the ball over 3 times. You do that against the Seahawks or the Broncos even, you don't win the game. Texans literally lost strictly because of CJ Stroud, and there's no denying that. Everybody will tell you that. So, if I were you guys, get the turnovers right, because if you don't, you're not going to make it. There's just no way. Who's being a homer? How am I being a homer? I'm just telling you how it is. CJ Stroud lost that game for Houston. 100%. But Drake May turning the ball over 3 times, there's no way. There's no way you're going to get away with that against Seattle. Texans should have won if CJ played a decent game. That's what the Texans get for trusting a QB from Ohio State. Sheesh. Nah, I don't think you guys are. Y'all need a little more experience before you're ready. Sounds like you got But John, it sounds like you have an issue with Ohio State quarterbacks. Dang, man. I mean, I get the statistic though. There's never been an Ohio State quarterback that has ever led a team to a Super Bowl. So I mean, I get that much, but That almost sounded personal. Hello, Torex. But yeah, CJ has a lot of work to do. CJ got arrogant if I'm being honest. Oh, oh, you're Wisconsin. That's fair enough. Big Ten rivalry. It makes sense. Yeah, we're looking at all the data that we can find. You pretty much missed the lot. Pretty much missed all the discussion essentially. Just kind of taking a moment to see what we get from the Air Force here. But yeah, I don't think Drake May's a terrible quarterback, but you got to hang on to the football. You got to hang on to the football against a team like Seattle. Shoot, even the Rams, that defense will make you pay with guys like Jared Verse. But yeah, if I had to put my money on anybody, I'm picking Seattle. They just seem to have everything going right for them. The receiver room's very dangerous. They got a good running back as well. But the one wrinkle in that, and I'm kind of thinking about this now, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold can have the same kind of problem that C.J. Stroud has because we've seen him have those issues when he was playing in New York, and at times this year he's had the same problem. The teams that would have interested me the most if the AFC was in the equation would have been Houston with that defense. And then also, if Bo Nix had been healthy, the Broncos. Because playing at Mile High in general is always hard. And then if you add in the defense being as good as it is, along with Bo Nix's dual threat, it becomes a big issue pretty quickly. You're enjoying your heat on already. I can't blame you. Part of me is tempted to put on the fireplace, but I know better. I know I need to wait. Save it for when it's really necessary. How you doing, G bro? But yeah, that's my thoughts on the Super Bowl. I'm gonna pick Seahawks. As far as the AFC though, I think the Patriots should, in theory, be able to beat the Broncos. Well, anyone have any questions? I know people are kind of still coming in intermittently, so if anyone has questions, want to know the exact totals for your area, let me know. For anyone that is expected to be affected, don't ask me about your area if you know you're not going to be affected. I'm just kidding. I don't care. Not huge into football, but I hope you don't. You hope you don't miss the Super Bowl this year. That's fair. It's usually just a big event anyway. A lot of friends end up gathering. Yeah, I do think the Broncos could beat the Patriots based off of their defense. Their defense is a big problem in their own right. Like, I'd say that the Broncos and the Seahawks defense are comparable to Houston. I think Houston had the best defense this year. And then as far as Number two, I think I would pick Seattle. Then number three would be Denver. Oh, hey, you're originally from Houston. Nice. Where's Luxembourg exactly? Because I think there's a couple of different Luxembourgs around the U.S. So, which state? Europe! I should ground you, Torex, but I'm not going to. I should ground you for that. Smart Alec. Yeah, the only Luxembourg I've really that I could think of outside it, I think there's like a Virginia maybe that's like a Luxembourg or it's something Berg. I don't think it actually is that even. But that lets you know I don't travel outside the country much. I think that's like isn't Luxembourg a country? And do I even have the ability to forecast that? That's the other thing. Hang on a second. Do I even have the ability to forecast that? Well, not the ability, but the model data, really. For lack of a better term. Well, GFS does look like it's showing something. Okay, so this is France. It would be right here, wouldn't it? Luxembourg? It would be right here, this smaller country, right? Yeah, it has pushed to the north now, G bro. And then also the moisture shield definitely increased. Yeah. Yeah, I had a hard time seeing it because of the little contour line, but yeah, that's Luxembourg right there. I know Luxembourg is like a small country. It's one that rarely crosses my mind though. But as far as action is concerned over there, mostly seeing just rain. Even smaller one. Well, okay. Oh, at least they're prosperous. At least for the whole region, though, we don't really see a whole lot of wintry precip until looks like on Tuesday. Now the time zones over there I'm not as familiar with, so what's 03 or 03 Z is probably like it could be early afternoon. I highly doubt we'll be able to get Russia though. Yeah, because I would love to see what that looks like in northern Russia. Yeah, at least over towards this part of the world, it's like an ugly mess of slush and maybe some snow and freezing rain mixed in. But these guys are used to it and they're better able to handle it. But yeah, I don't see any chance that we would be able to get a good look at northern Russia. This probably will be the best opportunity I'd get. No, we could see, maybe. Alright, let's backtrack all the way to the beginning. Send me their channel on Discord, and I'll be happy to check them out. Oh, so it actually is closer to what Zulu time is. So it's like maybe 1 hour of difference. If that's the case, then 03Z would be like 2 a.m. or maybe like 4 a.m. So, I mean, it's not dissimilar, but it's a little bit different. Yeah, so it'll be like 4 a.m. So they're not like getting any long lasting events. They're just quick movers that are going to be that ugly, slushy, like wet snow. It's going to be out by the time the day ends up starting for them. I don't really see much of anything towards North Russia. I thought they were expecting like a big time snowstorm over there. At least that's what I kept hearing. Hey, Justin. Yeah, I haven't really seen anything special on the on this model at least. Let's check the Euro maybe. If you can send them to me though, definitely do that. I mean, it's no pressure if you can't, but I'd be happy to support them. Oh, the channel's still running? Good, good. Oh, I thought I had clicked Euro. I didn't. All right. So one last chance to look at Northern Russia, maybe? Oh, that's why I couldn't do it. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything towards North Russia yet. Wait a minute. Is this what they're talking about all the way up here? The mountains are causing a little bit of interference, so I'm not able to see as clearly towards the surface, but I think that might be it right there. To anyone that doesn't know why I'm looking at this right now, in North Russia, they got so much snow last week that they actually could jump off of the top of 4-story buildings into the snow and be perfectly fine. There are literally videos of people doing this on social media. I was shown this the other day. 4 stories worth of snow. What? And the weather pattern really looks like there still could be a couple more opportunities. They were posting AI. Why are people... This whole thing with AI is getting annoying, man. Two meters of snow. That's taller than I am. So that's you're tall, and I'm pretty tall. I'm like 6'6", actually. So when you consider potentially 2 meters of snow, you're excuse me, voice cracked. And you're talking a little over 2 meters of snow. You're talking about maybe 7, 8 feet. Isaiah, no, you're not. And the other thing is, like at my height, you actually kind of don't like being this tall. You come to find it's not all it's cracked out to be. Wow. Now that I didn't know. I don't know too much about Russian weather though either. I know a handful of things like the last time they had like a big tornado over there. You're 6'8". Okay. At least you didn't say the other thing. If you do that, I'm timing you out. If someone says those two numbers, I'm timing you out. I promise you that because I'm not dealing with chat spam. You're finally 5'1". Jeez. I thought you were taller than that. Yeah, it's kind of played out at this point, truthfully, if you ask me. It's ran its course. Like it's just kind of gotten lame. Really? 5'1"? Dang. That's alright. Jeez, Isaiah. Jeez. All right. Justin, I know you got in, so if you have any questions, feel free to shoot. We talked about most of the stuff already, so if you want to get into the totals, feel free. If you want to get into the physics, we can talk about that. And there you are. And we can do that too, but yeah, if you got any questions, bud, shoot. Yeah, it's more of a genetic thing. You're 6'2", huh, Justin? I figured you were pretty tall. These kids don't know that one. Well, even you probably know. Like once you get past 6'2", 6'3", it gets ugly. All right, Jordan. We'll be doing this again tomorrow because I have no idea what that data from the hurricane hunters is going to offer. Oh, you read the Little Rock update. What exactly are they saying over there? 24 hours. I want to see what this update looks like at midnight. I wish I could stay up that. I actually. Well, no, I probably can't. This is probably going to be the one day out of the week where it's not below freezing first thing in the morning. So the opportunity to work does exist for a change. Because what's been happening over here is with the mornings being below freezing and the kind of work that we do, which uses liquid overnight, our chemical tanks, they freeze. So that batch can end up being messed with a bit and it just gets So yeah, it gets bad. It was also 16, but an entire foot taller. Yeah, genetics can be a real mess. But hey, should you decide to go to the gym, you'll be able to put on muscle faster than I ever will. Like it wouldn't take you much at all. Like for me to even look like kind of halfway decent, like as far as muscles are concerned, like I have to almost basically just off myself in the gym. Like I have to work out to the point where I basically can't walk or move my arms. So just use what you got to your advantage. That's the advice that I give you. Let me refresh this really quickly, see what we get. Have they completed their mission? Nope, not yet. Yeah, I had my last growth spurt up to, I think it was like when I was 21 or 22. The whole reason I even knew that it happened is because I was playing guitar one morning after I had gotten up and ate breakfast. And something just kind of felt wrong. Like my guitar was just like sitting lower. It felt like it just sat lower. I didn't have a guitar strap on or anything like that. So I was just like, what's wrong with this here? Like it was even to the point where I was kind of hurting my picking hand because I was just like, what's going on here? Just like everything felt like it was just so much lower, and the mental part of that was just kind of messing with me. Thankfully, I haven't had. Thankfully, that was my last growth spurt because I would have been pissed otherwise. So there's still some hope for you yet, Torex. You'll grow to a decent height, but then again, he's probably not on here. But probably one of the best people that I know, one of the best guys that I know with women, is a guy that's actually short. You just got to have the confidence, man. Like Like, I worked with this guy, and I'd literally just watch him get phone numbers from women like it's nothing. And he's probably like about 5'7", 5'8". But it's all about the confidence and how you carry yourself. And I'll tell him, and I've told him this to his face, like, bro, you carry yourself so well. Like, I don't get how you do that. Like, you make it look ridiculously easy. 8 to 10 for Southwest Virginia is legit. Depends on how far Southwest Virginia you're talking. Sound just like your dad. No, I don't. But yeah, North Star, yeah, you're in a bullseye now. If you go even further up towards central part of the state, you're getting towards the foot. So if it continues to trend north, your totals might increase actually. But I would also be concerned with the potential for ice in your area too, because ice totals have ramped up over there. You're looking at potentially over a quarter inch right now, so that could be a big problem. Yeah, it seems like his dad has some wisdom. What are the low temps for your area? Okay, let's take a look. Ouch. Your temps are going to be at about 5 degrees by the time we get into Tuesday during the peak part of the event. Let's actually go ahead and take a look at that. We've been kind of goofing off because everyone's been asking me questions that are a little bit more out of the blue, which I don't mind. But let me go ahead and show you the timing, and then we'll also get a look at those low temps. But it's going to be pretty brutal after this storm passes too, so just be ready for that. So we'll combine that with our temp map here. Do this, do this. I love this feature from Google Chrome. This is so nifty. It's incredibly resourceful. It's a lot easier. Now, I will say one thing. There is a wrinkle within the forecast now with that low beginning to strengthen further off towards the south. It's going to cause a little bit of a warm nose, so there may come a point where you'll get that period of snow, freezing rain. It might shift back to rain and then back to snow, so it could alter the totals too. Yeah, the temps afterwards are going to be really bad. Because the refreeze is what's really going to hurt a lot of people. Because look at this. I'm going to exit out of this one. It's really what happens after the storm that makes it such a significant impact here. It's a 1-2 punch, essentially. You get the snow, you get the ice, and then it doesn't go anywhere for the next week after the fact. And that's what makes it so bad. Like, I'll just put this in a loop so you can watch the cold air. Because, I mean, you can literally see the core of it here. But you can see how everything down here, the entire lip of it just stretches into Florida even. Going to see some record low temperatures even into the panhandle before all said and done. So, yeah. Not great. Not great at all. Does anyone have any more questions? The storm never forms near you. The mountains didn't save you. The mountains didn't even save you. You weren't even relevant to be in this one. Storm system was like Utah Schmutah. Yeah, this storm system was like Utah Schmutah. I'm going to Colorado. Screw those guys up there. Shoot, if the rate this is going, and the storm might say screw Georgia, Georgia Schmorgia. You'll get a little bit of ice. I'm gonna make you all spend money at the grocery store for no reason. It'd be nice if that was the case, honestly. For the most part, we're not terrible over here at home, though. My main concern is firewood, which it's gonna apply either way. So that way you have the ability to make sandwiches with bread, and then you can use milk for a lot of cooking mixtures if you have a gas stove. A lot of food ingredients tend to have either bread or milk. You can eat cereal with milk. Milk sandwiches. Yep. Isaiah was just talking about that a little earlier. Isaiah brought that up a little earlier. Alright, so if you already have the refrigerator cold, milk will last for at least a good 2 or 3 days. And then just the regular milk that you get out of the fridge at the grocery store isn't the only kind of milk. You have evaporated milk, you have non-fat dry milk, which we have here at home. But yeah, literally all you would need to make milk based off of evaporated milk is just a little bit of sugar to water. And it's pretty much the same thing with non-fat dry milk. And you don't need to make like a whole gallon of it. Yeah, really, if you think about it, that's also true. At like 40, yeah, if you're the house, if the temps inside the house are about 40 degrees, your milk's not gonna go anywhere either. Not unless you decide to leave the top off like an idiot. Alright, so this is the storm system exiting. 1 day, that's 2 days. We should put the meat outside. That might actually work too. That's the crazy part about all of that. I'll tell you one thing though, the ones who are really winning are those who have the gas stoves. Anyone who has a gas stove is really winning. But yeah, it looks like the first time that you end up being above freezing was probably going to be maybe Tuesday. Definitely looks like Wednesday seems like it's going to be a thing. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I'm so grateful we have one. Hi, Baconator. Isaiah was talking about you a little earlier and how you guys are going to get a good bit of snow. If you're Justin, I know you're an adult and you're older than me, actually old enough to, well, Let me not. Well, you're old enough to be my pops too, even. But why are you driving in dense fog in Little Rock right now, and you're talking on here? Please be safe, sir. John, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, John, but I read that a little bit wrong. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have to apologize. I know you will probably frown on me for that, but I couldn't help but laugh. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. The second I read that, I know exactly what he means, and that's the worst part. But my mind just instantly went to the wrong place. Dang got it. Oh, it's called text to speech. I probably lost 5 subscribers just for that nonsense. Tech on it. Oh man, why am I like this? That's the real question. Why am I like this? Oh boy. Anyway, nah, Justin was referring to how he's able to be on talk on chat while he's driving through dense fog. Because I was like, sir, I appreciate you being in chat, but I want you to be safe. Oh man, I'm sorry, guys. I read that. I was just like, oh. It's like, oh. It's like, shut up, don't do it. Ah, you freaking did it. What's wrong with you? But yeah, brisket sounds lovely in this kind of weather. Brisket honestly does sound lovely. Uh, I don't know if I'm bold enough to get out on the grill though. I don't know if I'm bold enough to get out on the grill. Really? Already? Oh yeah, it is 10:30. Hard to keep the temperatures right in this kind of weather. Yeah, definitely definitely more of a challenge. Barbecue rump roast. I can't remember the last time I actually have had any of that. Yeah, I haven't had anything. I haven't had a brisket that's been at a really good price lately, so it's been hard to fiberglass insulation. Sheesh. But yeah, I haven't had any good discounts or any good sales on brisket lately. Or if I did have them, I definitely missed them because I had to put my money towards other things. Adulting, you gotta love it. Yeah. You all should share your brisket. Shoot, if you're on Discord, then feel free to share your barbecue photos too. We have a whole section for food. No, big. I don't want to time you out for that so bad, but only because I laughed when I shouldn't have is why is why I'm going to spare you for now. Oh no. You have to if you're going to clip that part, you got to screenshot it too. You got to screenshot the chat. You want to suffer needlessly, so you use a grill and monitor it constantly. Yeah, I can relate, North. I can relate, North Star. Do you put pineapple with yours? Because that's what we would do. Yeah, I haven't had a barbecue since like a legitimate like barbecue grilling situation since like probably about 2 years ago. Just just really where we live, there's no space for a grill. Like no space at all. Okay, no, it's too late to retract that. I saw that. Keep going. Keep it up. I'm gonna get you. You will get smoked, sir. You will be smoked, and I'm pretty sure that's gonna turn into something. But yeah, we don't. Yeah, it's just a little too small where we live to have a grill. Besides, we gotta. If we did have a grill and we had it on the porch, we'd have to. We live upstairs and we have to take it downstairs. And it's just a lot more hassle than anything. No, no, I figured not potatoes. I was talking about like pineapples or anything like that. But then again, it sounds like you kind of prefer like spicy barbecue. Your lake is cooked. Yeah, it has been a below average year for a little bit further out towards like the west coast in regards to snow. The eastern half of the mountains and the northern half of the mountains have really been the hot spot this year. Or have really been the bullseye. You can't say hot spot when it comes to snow because that doesn't make any sense. Pineapple juice, yes. I don't know. I'm kind of like I like the sweet and spicy bar. I'm a sweet and spicy barbecue kind of guy. Me, truthfully. All right, so we're waiting on the zero Z GFS to come in, and then that's probably gonna we'll go over the details of that, and I guess that'll be the stream, unless you guys just want to keep chatting. But yeah, sweet and spicy barbecue is great. Yeah, I like North Carolina's. I think I prefer North Carolina's sweet and spicy versus Kansas City, though. I know Baconator might take offense to that, given where he's from. Uh, Isaiah, what? No, 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 no. Flag on the play. Flag on the play, sir. That's a you know what? That's a personal foul. In fact, that's 15 yards. Wait, John, what? Wait, John. I hope you're not saying that to what I think you're saying, or what? Wait, what? Isaiah, what have you done? What have you done? Isaiah, what have you done, man? And then on top of that, like, no, no. You know what? I can't let that one slide. You, okay? Yep, gotta do it. Got, gotta do it. Get wrecked. He has to get timed out for that one. It's just like that one little British meme. He has to go, blood. He has to go. You can't do that. You can't do that, man. Baconator, I know you can't talk. I know you're not talking. We all saw what you said. Terrible influence, I approve. I mean, well, yeah, you just. I'll give you a pass, John, because you got caught in the crossfire. Yeah, yeah, I can't disagree with that. I can't disagree with that at all. That's the sad part. Man, my shoulder's stiff. Yeah, there must be some rain coming because my shoulder's actually hurting. He does use pineapple juice. What for? When you were growing up, you lived off of venison, goat, lamb. I never liked lamb. Beef, I'm perfectly fine with ground beef, but lamb, no. I've never heard Torex talk like this. What are you doing, Isaiah? You know you're messing up, man. Oh no, Baconator, you're about to be next. You're about to be next. You're about to be next. I would expect like randoms from the audience or something to be violating. It's my own freaking mods, man. It's my own mods and admins at that. Like, what is this? What is this nonsense? Dang, man. Well, if we're being honest, yeah, you aren't wrong. I don't run a strict enough curriculum. Oh, I was on Disc. I had a message on Discord. Oh, I remember those. Jeez, you guys are violating. Isaiah asked me a question on Discord literally 2 minutes before the stream started, acting like I was going to be able to look at it. All right, Baconator. Yep. You got to go, blood. You got to go, mud. I mean, I don't really care that much, but at the same time, it's like, let's keep it G rated. Too many letters. Too many letters. Fair enough. The butt and the shoulder are different cuts. Oh wow, we had a. At this point, I know I'm not winning this battle. So, you know what? You can call it what you want. Just don't take it out of context, like Isaiah does. Matthew, going to Michigan is kind of a stretch. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, in all fairness, it has been trending a lot further to the north than I thought it would. So I won't say that it can't, but I'd say it's unlikely. But then again, about 2 days ago, I said that Indiana isn't even in the equation. You get a little bit of something out of it based off the euro. What temperature is Western Virginia? You ask me this after I had the temperature map up for almost 10 minutes. Yes, they're going to get that. That goes without saying. Since we have the temperature map up here, here you go. Yeah, let's not bring him up if it's not necessary. I'm messing with you, North Star. It's not a big deal. Out of like all the other weather guys on here on YouTube, I'm probably the most unserious. I genuinely am probably the most unserious out of all of them. Oh yeah, you're definitely gonna be doing some ice fishing up there if you want. Out of all the content, okay then, smart Alec. Out of all the content creators, I'm the most unserious. The most unserious of our bunch here is undoubtedly Baconator. And the most out of control out of our bunch is undoubtedly Isaiah. So, an interesting little tidbit here, Matthew. So, the hurricane hunters actually got dispersed to go into where the low pressure is, which is all the way out here towards the Pacific. Isaiah, it's 384 hours. That's not gonna go at light speed. And don't even get me started on the Euro, because that wouldn't load until 1 a.m. The channel is small, so maybe things could change once it gets bigger. I would always want to be who I am right now. I'd rather be the way I am now, you know what I'm saying? Evan had to tell himself to snap out of it. What do you mean? Snap out of what? What does he need to snap out of? The only time I look for that positive environment is if you guys are in chat with me and there's like a whole tornado outbreak going or something like that. Other than that, I try to keep it pretty chill. But yeah, why was Evan saying snap out of it? What happened? Being too goofy. I guess if you have brand partners and all that other stuff, I guess it gets a little harder, but I'd rather be myself. I'd rather be me, man. If you can't take me as I am, don't bother, honestly. Uh-huh. Yeah, look at you. You're typing things and then you're typing stuff that's long enough to take like more than 20 seconds to read, and yet you want to retract them. You aren't slick, Baconator. I read most of that, and I was able to decipher enough of it. Man, my shoulder's freaking aching. Let you know the pressure's dropping out here. Really need to get into the gym. What'd he say? I can't really say all of it on stream. Yeah, I'd rather not. Yeah, I don't want to be a robot. Like, what? No. Like, what? No. That is a violation right there, Baconator. No. The way Like, that's just. No. I should time you out for that, but I'm not going to do it. My arm hurts too much to reach over to my cursor. But yeah, I'm not even going to try to read that, and that's making my head hurt trying to read it. Yes, game over, sir. But yeah, anyone that's a little bit newer to the channel around here, we're pretty unserious until it's time to be. During the discussions, I'm a little bit more serious, but outside of that, when we're chatting like this, it's goofy. Dang. Oh, there we go. Yes, I just cracked my neck on stream. Be scared. Anyway, if you have any other questions, I mean, I'm still game to answer. No one likes robots, man. And then on top of that, if you guys really think about it, cracked my neck. Okay, Baconator. Since you want to be so serious all of a sudden. But what I was going to say, though, was... Wait, what's this? What's the mention here? Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. I get it. All right, mother. All right, mother. Yeah, I popped my neck. Are you happy now? Now I just need to pop my shoulder. The GFS is updating now, but it's painfully slow. That's why I try not to do these streams in the middle of what I call the model cusp. But we honestly ended up carrying it over. Yeah, and if you end up snapping it, then yeah, that's pretty bad. Okay, I mean, I get your point. You know what I meant. Don't have to be so official. You know I didn't mean I actually snapped it. I didn't do it until I started getting into metal. Then after headbanging, it happens easily now. It's probably not a good thing. I'm sure they do. I don't know how quickly you'd get one, but I'm sure they exist. Oh, I know what we could look at real quick while we're waiting on the model data. Let's take a look and see what we have here. 84 hours. We still have at least another probably 15, like 5-10 minutes before we'd actually get a look at the storm. Is the Euro more accurate than the GFS? They're kind of 50-50 to be honest. Oh, you're going to Walmart tomorrow. Good luck. Good luck indeed. Get a hand crank charger and turn calories into energy. Hey, man. That's the way it used to be done. I'm all for it. But yeah, Matthew, as far as GFS and Euro is concerned, I'd say they're about equal. A lot of times when it comes to winter weather, I'd say the Euro is a little better. But GFS has its moments too. Sometimes the Euro completely whiffs as well. So I'd say it's pretty balanced between the two. But yeah, it's at 87 hours right now. We need, I would say 96 would be pretty good. Ha, you're walled. Oh no, even Mountain Dew. Yeah, that's how you know it's bad. When you're sold out of Mountain Dew, you know it's ugly. GFS is so beautiful to you. Why? I know exactly what we can look at though. All right, so this is on day 3, obviously, but this is what's called the Winter Storm Severity Index. So if you're expecting winter weather, obviously the color code suggests the level of impact. If you're in the yellow, it's not that bad. Once you get to the orange and the red, that's when you start to have problems. Now, one thing about this is only showing the first day of the event. This isn't showing the other days right now. Right now, I'm in like the grayish white. Oh, Waffle House is really bad. Yeah, if Waffle House closes, just pack it up. You're done. There's no chance. I mean, that should really be expected, though. As a, of course, you're going to be in a moderate impact. But yeah, if you have a Waffle House in your local area, and it starts and those start closing, that yeah, just pack it up, stock up, and just stay in for a while because they never close. Just take the L at that point. Yeah, if Waffle House closes, you're screwed. All right, Isaiah. I don't know if you wait. Let me see something here. That's not what I wanted. Not at all. A Waffle House meter. Please share that with me if you do it. I want to see that. I would love to see that. I'm trying to get an idea of. I'm trying to figure out where that whatchamacallit is that you showed me earlier, Isaiah. The winter storm outlook. Because for whatever reason, I never found it. Or is it this? Wait a minute. Oh, never mind. I found it. All right. So for anyone that's curious, and I mentioned this earlier, these are the areas that are likely to exceed winter storm warning criteria. Now, I want you to keep in mind that this varies by state or by National Weather Service weather forecasting station or forecasting office, as it's really called. Now, I figured it out. Now I just need to remember it for future winter events, even though we don't really cover those a lot. But yeah, if you're in any areas that are within that this little purple magenta-ish kind of area, you're talking about 80% and beyond. So pretty much a shoo-in for a winter storm warning. If you're in the red, you're in the 50 to 80, so it's a pretty good chance you'll get it. Once you get into the yellows and the blues, of course, chances kind of drop off, but keep in mind, we're kind of looking at the early phases of this event. Oh, and also, this is for snowfall. There's actually a section for freezing rain as well. And then this area kind of goes further off towards the south a bit more. My area is literally like right on the edge of being like in the red. I think I actually am just barely in the red. Yeah, it's close to you. I know that much. Okay, let's actually see if GFS has really started to come in yet. It has. Okay. All right, now here we go. Let's get this party started. All right. Let's go with precip type. Let's just rip the band-aid off now. All right, so here we go. This is our first look at the midnight GFS run, technically. This is the 0Z run. So here's our showers for tomorrow for the southeast. Picture is quiet, and then this is where trouble begins. A lot of moisture over here towards the mountains. Here's our low pressure. Starting to get some mixing a little later into the day on Friday. GFS is kind of leaning later and later into the evening. Kind of matches a little bit more with what we've seen from the Euro. So overnight Friday, that's when the ice really gets started. I've been seeing more sleet on here than I have ice, and that's been a recent trend that seems like it's set to continue. So that line seems like it extends a little further south, but this is where things get interesting for the southeast. That warm nose kind of pops up by Saturday afternoon. So with that, that's when the threat of rain starts to come in here, and a cold rain at that. But it leads to a lot of unknowns as well. So then the rain snow line ends up pushing a little bit further north because of the warm nose that we get from the low pressure. And you're going to see a period where this kind of switches over to rain again as we get into Sunday morning. Eventually, as we get throughout the day, I do think we switch back to rain, and this could nullify some of the ice over here towards the deep south. For other areas like Arkansas, Louisiana, you kind of cooked. But we do get a nice little snow shield over towards the Midwest and also over towards the Mid-Atlantic and Ohio valleys as well. The time frame doesn't really change all that much beyond that. My real question is, what does this surface temperatures do around this section here? If that turns into, I don't like how that stencil is. I have to figure out how to make that a little bit smaller. Let me do that really quickly. Okay, let's get that fixed up. All right, let's try this again. That's much better. All right, but it's this sector here that I'm most interested in. Because this is also a spot where if the temperatures don't end up going above freezing here at the surface, this turns into a situation where significant icing becomes likely, especially towards the northern half of this circle. The southern half, I'm not really expecting a lot. And then by the time we get into Monday afternoon, all of this is essentially gone except for the mountains. Baconator, you only got timed out for 10 seconds. And you're going to use an alternate account, really? Okay, so yeah, I guess you have something there. I do. Well, I'd say north central, maybe not as much central. I'd love it if the blend of models would update too. Oh wait, it did. Nice. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look then. And this will probably be how we end out the stream. I doubt you guys want to hang out for another 2 hours because I don't know what the heck we'd even do anyway. No, sir. You can get wrecked. Yeah, we're still expecting a 1/4 inch ice over here. Isaiah, you're still expecting above a 1/4 inch. Yeah, we need that too. Yeah, okay, so the storm system's done at this point. So these are the new totals from the blend of models. There's a new bullseye that kind of pops up. Bullseye that pops up here over towards North Carolina and over here even towards into Virginia now, towards the eastern half of the state. The western half of the state, thinking we're getting more snow than ice here still. If anything, I kind of think we maybe had like a little baby trend to the south again. It's hard to say at this point. I will say one thing about parts of Tennessee, especially over towards Memphis. 1/4 inch ice still seems like it's the move, but it doesn't seem like it's quite as much of a bullseye. Yeah, I think this is starting to trend back south again, or at least GFS is. Really would love it if the Euro could update faster, but you know, they go off their time, not our time. But the shift to the south might save you guys. Won't spare me as much, but you know, it is what it is. And I also see a little bit of a trend back off to the west a little bit to go with it. Oh, so they've already issued it. Let's see. Yep, there it is. It's for Oklahoma City. Yep, it's for Oklahoma City. Yep. Alright, so we actually have been live long enough to catch the first official winter storm warning as it happened. As everybody else in the weather community likes to say. Yeah, 4 days and it expires in 4 days. But yeah, that was pretty early. They normally don't go 48 hours. But yeah, of course Norman would be the one to do that. Okay, so the warning is comprised of mixed precipitation possible, snow accumulations of 6 inches or more likely, a glaze of ice up to 2/10 of an inch possible. Winds could also gust as high as 35 miles per hour on Friday. with dangerous cold wind chills expected Friday night through Sunday morning. So this is expected to take place from 6 a.m. Friday all the way to noon Sunday. So this is just a little bit outside of that 24-hour time frame. I guess they just said the heck with it. We'll go ahead and issue it early. I would expect tomorrow we probably end up under a winter storm watch. Or at least my area would be. There's one other thing I want to check though before we go, but it's going to take a little bit longer. Yeah. This trend kind of pushes it back a little further south based off of the National Weather Service blend of models, Justin. I genuinely wish I could stay up long enough to do that to see that, regardless of whether I'm on stream or not. You'll probably get your warnings tomorrow night. I might get mine on Friday, maybe. I'm definitely anticipating a watch tomorrow, though. But yeah, I don't think we get it tonight. I think we probably get it tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, our day is going to be Saturday, so if it's 48 to 72 hours, I would lean closer towards 48 for us since we're not as certain. I think we'll probably end up getting Winter Storm Watch. Me personally. Spending tomorrow winterizing my parents' house. I like that term, winterizing. That is great. Shoot, that's what I would do. Forget driving around in that, even if it's snow. Even if it's snow, forget driving around in that. I just want to relax. I just want to take it easy. Just show you what I have going on outside my house. Maybe drive around the corner if I'm lucky, and that's it. Unfortunately, I don't have the option because I'm surrounded on all sides by hills. So I am absolutely not going out. And I don't even have a vehicle right now anyway. Mine's down. It's like, yeah, I'm just planning on staying home on Friday until question marks. I honestly, at this point, it could be several days before you could even go out. Just hopefully the power grid holds. Honestly, with the way the models were looking at the beginning for Texas, though, at the beginning of the week, quite frankly, it could have been so much worse for them. Yeah, I just have too many hills around me. I can't even leave. Like the hills are all the hills that are out here too are just steep, man. Yeah, each storm is different, and there's going to be sneaky wind gust along with this, so anything that refreezes, that's when things kind of get messy. Like to leave the subdivision slash apartment complex, or just basically the community, it's like a huge hill going up and down. So even if I were to get downhill, which there's also water on both sides too, getting uphill, yeah, it's a little bit much to ask. Let me see what this is. Yeah, if the power goes out, a lot of us are cooked. Yeah. Yeah, for me, freezing rain, ice, that's not going to work for me. Shoot, but even with the hills, like snow, I don't even want to play with that. Well, if the power doesn't go out, it'd be a good time to do a fireside chat, or maybe we'd even do our own little collab thing while I'm streaming, because I'll definitely be streaming the event. I mean, it goes without question, really, at this point. Man, I'm hungry. Oh, we need to look at snowfall too. Yeah, this is trending back south again. This definitely shows a slight trend back to the south. I wonder if this is stemming from all the hurricane hunter data. Let's refresh this window here. Take a look at things. Storms kind of stayed in the same spot. This is still en route though. I think we'll get the data. I think we'll get the real data like overnight. But yeah, our storm system is right over here. You can see the counterclockwise spin right there. Well, I guess we'll figure out what to do next. I'm probably gonna. I don't think the GFS trended south, but the blend of models from the National Weather Service kind of has. It seems like it's made a slight trend back south, at least with the snow totals. But let's go ahead and split this up so you can see it a little bit more clearly. Oh, Max is still alive? Alright, but yeah, this is what the ice is looking like, and this is what the snow is looking like. This looks a lot like what I was seeing yesterday. We've kind of gone backwards. You still see the warm nose, but that warm nose isn't pushing as far up to the north either. The bullseye here is kind of downtrended though, just a little bit. I've noticed that as well. At one point, I was seeing totals up to like 0.75 on there, and now I'm starting to see only 0.7s. So that's a good sign. If that's any sort of, if there's any sort of positive to be had with that. As far as snow totals, not much has really changed. It's kind of exactly how it was before. You're still expecting you're still expecting almost 4 to 6 inches of snow, and you're still not happy. That's what I want to understand. I'll be lucky if I get a trace of snow up to an inch, and you're still complaining. Oh, you're happy with that? You're only gonna get so much snow before it turns into ice. You're in the bullseye, man. Your fate is sealed. Yeah, snow is good. Ice, hate it. 100% hate having the freezing rain. I'm looking at the data. Oh yeah, I already have that up right here. Yeah, I saw your message though. Yeah, I've had it up for a little while. I'm waiting for them to finish up. I'm wondering if the data is from this, if the data from this run is from them, or if it's going to be the morning runs that'll show the data. That's the real question I have at this point. But one thing it did do is help me identify where the low pressure is. I mean, it's pretty obvious right there. It'll probably be in range like overnight tomorrow, most likely. It'll almost certainly be overnight by the time HRRR comes in. So, kind of a messy situation, but we will make it work. We'll probably be able to look at NAM by the next time we do a stream. Oh, they're officially dropping them now? I mean, because I looked at a couple of the drop sounds. But I don't know if I'm patient enough just yet to deal to decipher it yet. Yeah, the surface temperatures are going to be under 20. The problem isn't the surface temperatures. It's going to be more so the temperatures above your head. It's going to be, you're getting an area of warm air aloft, and that's where the problem lies. We're going to go ahead and look at the latest GFS. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. You can't tell Mother Nature what to do. She will not listen. Like I said, it's all about the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere, or lower to mid levels of the atmosphere. It's never the surface. So let's go ahead and actually take a look at that. I've noticed, Isaiah. I know you are. Right. Temperature. We need to look at. No, I think I'll do it on this side. Oh. Mother Nature's always ran her own ship. I don't know why you're thinking it's gonna be. Why you think you gonna tell her what to do? Yeah, I know that saying. I definitely know that saying. Wait, why is it not? Come on now. There we go. I know I clicked on the temperature map. It even highlighted it, so I don't know what the deal was there. Alright, come on. Give me what I want. There you go. Alright, so on the left side of the screen is your surface temp. On the right side of your screen here, I was about to call it a TV. Come on. You know you want to. There you go. Alright, so on the left side of your screen, surface temp, right side of your screen, this is a few thousand feet above our heads. This is going to be around the time the winter storms really kind of, we're going to set this up to around the time where the winter storm's really kicking in. Come on now, don't do this to me. I don't know if